Hello everyone and welcome to round 3 coverage here at the 2015 Memorial Championships presented by Discraft. I'm your host Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and you have tuned into Smashbox TV, where we're going to bring you leader card coverage of our Open men. Paul McBeth has surged into the lead. However, there is a pretty big scandal going on around here. They may be calling it Baggate or whatever terms that we're going to see throughout the live feed today, but Paul McBeth's bag is missing. And unfortunately, this isn't a ruse or any kind of way to drum up excitement. Paul McBeth's bag went missing sometime between last night and this morning, so he's got an entirely new bag that he's going to be playing with today. That's clearly going to be part of the story as we're out here at this Fiesta Lakes course in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. And breaking right into it is Will Schusterek, acing hole number 2. And as I can tell you, there's going to be plenty of excitement. I'm already giddy about what we're going to see today. Will Schusterek has just aced hole number 2, which is right next to us. And in just a few moments, we're going to be here with the leader card action at the Memorial Championships. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and you're watching Smashbox TV. And with the challenge of following up an ace on the card, Drew Gibson has just teed off. We're looking at the second card right now, where Simon Lizotte is currently sitting 20 under par, Will Schusterek 21 under par, Nico LaCastro 20 under par, and Drew Gibson also at 20 under par. Simon Lizotte throwing a forehand and just hits off the chains on hole number 2. Talk about an amazing set of drives here. Again, the action is going to heat up. We're going to be bringing to you live all day long out here at the Fiesta Lakes course. That is your second card. Will Schusterek now moving to 23 under after scoring the ace on that second hole. We're going to move over to the action. We've got Paul McBeth, the champion, sitting on the tee, hole number 1. And McBeth, no problems with the forehand here on hole number 1. Hole 1 measuring in at 192 feet. Jeremy Koling is next on the tee. Looks like he will also be going with a forehand. There is OB, as you'll see, they're throwing directly over a green, which is considered out of bounds, and a few feet closer is Jeremy Koling. Also to the right-hand side here of this hole number 1 is an out-of-bounds parking lot. We've talked to a number of players here today that are discussing what the hot scores may be if some of our players decide to light up the course, so to speak. And Wysocki within 15 feet of the pin as well. And fourth to tee is David Feldberg. And Feldberg making a very costly error right off of the tee here on hole number 1. He was the only competitor to throw a backhand shot. And not only did it go out of bounds, but with where he is going to be placed on his second shot, I'm not sure that he's going to have a very good look here to try and save the par 3. Feldberg shot carrying into the parking lot. Rarely do you hope for a car to stop your disc and possibly keep you in bounds, but in this case I know that's what Dave was hoping for. Again, Paul McBeth sitting 24 under par. Jeremy Koling 23 under par. Ricky Wysocki 21 under, and Dave Feldberg at 20. Paul McBeth giving a spot as to where he went out of bounds. Looks like the low-hanging tree branches between Dave and the basket may provide a little bit of additional challenge for him. And as I mentioned, the low-hanging tree branches hang up Feldberg's par attempt. No problems for Ricky Wysocki. Both Paul and Koling are within 15.
Yeah, sure.
Feldberg is going to put in for 4, and Koling puts in for the birdie 2. So a dynamic start right here on the very first hole. We see 3 birdies and a bogey by Dave Feldberg. Going to take a short walk over here to hole number 2. We'll see if we've got a preview all lined up for you.
I'm Steve Rico. We're out here at Fiesta Lakes on hole 2. It's 321 feet with a double mandatory. You got to go in between the 2 trees. I'm going to take a fairway driver and just try to pierce the gap and try to slide it up right up to it.
Paul McBeth on the tee. And McBeth making quick work of this 321-foot hole number 2. Throws a forehand shot. We'll see the same from Jeremy Koling. And Koling's forehand finishes to the right. I'm guessing we'll see another forehand here by Ricky Wysocki. And flirting with the mandatory tree on the left-hand side, Ricky Wysocki's is pushed into the ground. Here's Feldberg with a backhand. Very solid shot by Dave Feldberg. He's given up at least 2 strokes to the entire card here today on this first hole. He's going to have his work cut out for him. This is going to be a scoring course and a day for scoring out here at this Fiesta Lakes course. So giving away 2 strokes on that very first hole, that's going to come back to him in the end. Let's see how he can recover. And Wysocki approaches to within a few feet from the pin. Off the top of the basket, Jeremy's putt carries long by 18 feet. McBeth left with about 30 feet. And no problems for McBeth to card the birdie too. Koling cleans up for his 3. Dave Feldberg for his birdie. And no problems for Feldberg. So he recovers from the bogey here on hole number 1 and comes back with a birdie 2. And Wysocki puts in for his 3.
I'm Kelsey Wilmerding. We're here at Fiesta Lakes. This is hole 3. It's 336 feet. It's kind of on a ridge back there with the little hill sloping away from it. I like to try to hit the hill, scoot up a little bit, and have an uphill putt at it. We've moved over here to hole number 3, where we find a 336 slightly elevated basket here, perched on a hillside. Going perfectly straight is McBeth's drive. He's going to have a look up at a putt from there. Back-to-back birdies puts McBeth at 26 under par. Dave Feldberg's shot is carrying down into the left. Jeremy Koling with a forehand shot here.
this hole sets up very nicely for Koling's forehand if that can finish to the right, and it's done so. He's going to be deep of the basket looking at an uphill putt. We'll look for a similar shot by Ricky Wysocki. And it looks as if Wysocki let it go a little bit too early, and he's going to be up and on the hillside. While we walk here down hole number 3, we've got a few great updates for you. First and foremost, we're going to talk a little bit about our DGA code word of the day. Go out to bit.ly/mockx and type in the code word breaker. BREAKER. Breaker is the code word of the day. That gets you registered for our DGA Mock X giveaway, which we'll be doing on next Tuesday during our Smashbox TV podcast. Also, if you're not seeing this in full 720 HD, please go out and click on the bottom right-hand corner of your YouTube viewer or screen. Click on the gear, and then you can bump up that resolution to 720. We'll be broadcasting in HD all day long here from Smashbox TV. And recently added just yesterday, smashbox.tv/support. If you have any interest in supporting what we are doing here, or have been doing, or will continue to do on Smashbox TV, which is bringing you live disc golf from all around the country throughout the entire 2015 season, you can go out there and make a donation of any kind. And you can do that on smashbox.tv/support. A little later in the show, we're going to talk to you about picking up your very own As Seen on Smashbox TV t-shirt, thanks to Miles over at Paragon Disc Golf. We see an approach shot by Ricky Wysocki from just below the basket. We're going to see Dave Feldberg for his birdie opportunity here. And Feldberg just a bit short, of course. If he were to hit the side of the basket or anything else, it would have a pretty good chance of getting up and rolling, especially with the wind pushing the disc around here today. So Feldberg's going to have to settle for a 3. McBeth is left with approximately 25 feet uphill. And a very solid putt by Paul McBeth. He has started out this round 3 birdies in a row. He's going to move himself to 27 under par. Jeremy Koling, who also went just deep of the pin, is able to put in for the birdie 2. Ricky Wysocki from the same distance. He's going to have to settle for a par 3, as will Dave Feldberg. We've got a very short walk over here to hole number 4. However, I believe Nate Doss is going to give us a hole preview here at Fiesta Lakes.
Hey, I'm Nate Doss. We're out here at Fiesta Lakes Disc Golf Course. We're on hole 4. It's 258 feet. It's a pretty short hole, but we have 2 options. We have a wider hyzer angle, and we have a kind of more tight inside, slightly less hyzer angle. But pretty straightforward hole. Just want to try to get it in there close. Use that one.
how's Gio? Again, stay on Gio, Johnny, until. We're over here on hole number 4. Paul McBeth on the tee. And a nice shot by McBeth, a little bit long. Koling goes with a forehand shot out around the left-hand side. Dave Feldberg goes right up the middle and comes up just a bit short. He does go past the basket, however, he went just in front of it on the throw. And Ricky Wysocki follows Koling with a forehand out and around to the left. Those are your tee shots. We are here on hole number 4, and as we walk down the fairway following these gentlemen, we're going to touch on a few of our amazing sponsors in Discraft, who of course is the presenting sponsor here at the 2015 Memorial Championships. Ledgestone Insurance Open. Nate Heinold is putting on an amazing national tour event later on this year in August in the greater Peoria, Illinois area. Nate has already committed to more than $65,000 added cash to that national tour event, in addition to donating more than $10,000 to the St. Jude area, to the St. Jude Fund in the greater Peoria area. Spinners on the Green, Plastic Addicts, Sail On, the PDGA, Vera Disc, and of course DGA, who will be giving away a Mach X right on our show on Tuesday night. McBeth from more than 40 feet is just off the front of the rim. This hole is very deceiving, as it looked as if McBeth was actually no more than 20 feet past the pin. As you can see, Dave Feldberg, who went just in front of the basket, looks like he is actually about 25 feet past the pin as well. And Feldberg comes back with another birdie that will put him to 1 under on the round. Koling will put in for his birdie too, as will Ricky Wysocki. That leaves Feldberg, Koling, and Wysocki with birdie 2s. Paul McBeth will relinquish the tee by carding a par 3. I'm going to take a very short walk over here to hole number 5. Val Jenkins is on the tee with your hole 5 preview.
All right, we're on hole 5 now. It's 267, slightly uphill I mean, you just got to hit the gap between the trees. I think it's a T-bird kind of shot.
After the completion of hole number 5, there's going to be a very lengthy backup on hole number 6. So we're going to be able to jump ahead on that card and give you guys a little bit of action from a few of the cards that are going to be playing on that hole. I would guess right now there is at least a 20 to 25 minute backup that's going to be on the next hole, which is a very long par 3. I believe they're calling hole number 6. So again, upon the completion of hole 5, we'll move over to 6 and we'll be able to bring you some action from a few of the other groups. Right now we have Jeremy Koling on the tee. Koling waited for the crowd to step aside so that he could throw a forehand shot on the left-hand side. The not all too enthusiastic gallery up there indicating that he's got a safe shot. Next to tee will be Dave Feldberg here in just a moment. Feldberg currently sitting at 21 under par. And Feldberg's going out and around everything, playing the hyzer shot, and it looks as if he has gotten the OB indication. I'm guessing he has gone deep of the basket. There is OB on the left-hand side, as well as deep of the pin. And also pushing back the gallery a little bit is Ricky Wysocki. That looks to be a very nice shot. However, he is a little bit deep. Paul McBeth, fourth to tee, sitting at 27 under par. And you could see the wind push down Paul's disc. He's not particularly thrilled about the result of that. However, we're here. It is windy. We can feel it as a cross breeze here, left to right. Hole number 5. Again, on the completion of this hole, we're going to be able to move down the fairway on the very challenging hole number 6, which is considered a par 3. There may not be as many groups as I thought, but we're going to bring you some action from over there. You're enjoying the 2015 Memorial Championships presented by Discraft. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and you need to go out and please share this link. Let everyone know that we are providing live disc golf for free right here on Smashbox TV. Again, the DGA Mach X code word of the day, secret code word, of course, that is breaker, B-R-E-A-K-E-R. Go out to bit.ly.com, bit.ly.com/MachX, M-A-C-H-X. Enter in your information. You can only do so once per day, and it must be while we are live here during our broadcast. So anytime from now until our final interview takes place tonight, you can go ahead and enter in that. And again, it's just once per day. That will give you one entry into winning a DGA Mach X, which we'll be drawing on Tuesday night's podcast on Smashbox TV. And Feldberg from more than 33 feet. He was in fact out of bounds. This is going to be Paul McBeth for birdie 2 from 30 feet. And McBeth getting a little bit of a break, although he was, of course, hoping to make that rolled out of bounds and then back in bounds. The wind is picking up considerably. It is currently a right to left wind for Ricky Wysocki. And Ricky Wysocki, unfortunately, just a bit low on his birdie attempt. Again, these players are being challenged by the wind out here. This course was considered by many people to be the easiest course of the Memorial Championships this week. However, if the wind continues, it will be a little bit more challenging. McBeth is able to put in for his 3. Jeremy Koling takes his full 1 meter relief here from the out of bounds line. And Koling, with his very unique approach to putting, steps right up and puts it in. He's going to card the birdie 2. Koling with a birdie 2. Wysocki and McBeth with par 3s, and Dave Feldberg again carding a 4 after going out of bounds. We're going to stand down for just a few moments and get everyone in position. Please sit back and enjoy a word from our sponsors. You're watching the 2015 Memorial Championships presented by Discraft.
The Mach X by DGA, the evolution of disc golf.
Disc golf is in the air. Join the excitement at pdga.com.
As you can see, we have caught up with what I believe is the third or even fourth card. Sorry that I don't have an exact clarification on that. However, we see that we have Kale Leviska, Greg Barsby, Sepu Paju, and Cameron Lincoln here on this card. This will be Greg Barsby's third shot. Barsby's putt for 3 is just a bit left. As you can see, this is also placed up on a small hillside. Cam Lincoln from Florida has 28 feet and unfortunately is short. And that is what some may call somewhat of a tournament roll. It did sit down for him relatively quickly. Kale Leviska makes good. Seppo Paggio here for his putt. Seppo has 2014 Women's Amateur World Champion Vanessa Van Dyken on the bag. We caught up with Vanessa a few days ago. She talked about her memorial experience that she's had thus far. She said she did not get off to the start that she was hoping for, but every time I talk to her, she tells me she is continuing to learn and improve. She also says that every time she comes out and plays with more of the professional women, she learns exactly what she needs to work on. We're going to follow that group as they head off of hole number 6. And in just a few moments, we're going to be able to give you some action from the next card that's going to be coming up the fairway. It was a very beautiful day out here at this Fiesta Lakes course. As you can tell, this is an executive style ball golf course, which has been loaned, so to speak, or rented by the Memorial Championships for the week. We're watching a beautiful roller come in that's going to finish up and to the right. However, as you can see, there is going to be an opportunity there for the birdie. Drew Gibson, who had a breakout event here last year, finishing in 3rd place. I believe he also officially became an adult since then. I believe he was just 17 last year. Clearly a very young up-and-coming disc golf stud out of California. He's got more than enough power to be able to reach this hole. And he's throwing a long turnover shot, which is somewhat surprising. I thought I would have seen a roller out of him. Also a previous Memorial champion in Nicola Castro throwing a very nice looking drive here. However, and he comes up just to the left of the regular green that we find out here, which are considered out of bounds on all of these holes. Hole number 6 measuring in at 570 feet. Oh, and getting stumped, so to speak. Wow, that had hit a stump and then got up and continues to roll. That is not what he was looking for. Again, 570 feet. The curb on the right is OB. The fence along the side of the entire fairway is, of course, OB. The golf green is out of bounds, and the painted line on the long right-hand side is also OB. So plenty of OB here. This is considered a par 3. I certainly know that I would be more than content in taking a 3 here. Schusterich is going to move himself over to where his disc finally came to rest. Will Schusterich throwing deep and left of the pin. He's looking for that to flip up and turn over just a little bit more. The longest thrower in the game in Simon Lizotte. He is going to find himself on the right-hand side. Of course, Simon breaking the world distance record last year, back in October in the desert, not too far from here. I believe that's about 5 hours north of where we're at in Phoenix at the moment. Simon, of course, breaking the world record that had not was not standing too long, that David Wiggins had previously set. Please go out and share and like this with all of your friends. Go out to any social media source, whether that's Twitter or Facebook, Tinder, Grindr, wherever it is that you go out and you share your social media, wherever you have friends or are looking to make new friends. We want you to spread the love of disc golf out there. This is Drew Gibson with his approach shot. Zoe Andyke officially voting Drew Gibson best dressed on the tour. Of course, being Oscar season and all, we had to get the rundown by our friend over in Oregon, by Zoe Andyke, who's been a staple here at the Memorial Championships coverage with us. She's been a huge asset to the show and just amazing player to follow around during our live coverage yesterday. Nate Doss throwing a good-looking drive here on hole number 7. We have Zach Melton on the tee here on hole number 7. Caught up with Will Schusterek, who's going to provide a layup shot here. That was his 3rd shot. This would be Drew Gibson's 3rd shot here on this 570-foot par 3. And Drew making good for his par. Looks like he has Madison Walker and Paige Pierce on the bag today. Simon Lizotte to putt next. You may or may not have heard me mention earlier, Zoe Andyke voting Drew Gibson the best dressed male on the tour. We're going to watch Nico LaCastro tap in. And Nico taking a little bit longer than we normally see from him here on this 6th hole. We see Lizotte at 24 under, Schusterek 23, LaCastro and Gibson both sitting at 22 under par. seeing an amazing roller come in, however, that is flirting with that OB green, and it has circled out and it looks to be safe. We hope that you are enjoying all of our third round coverage here at the 2015 Memorial Championships. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. We have an amazing staff and crew that is out there bringing you all of this action. We have Joe Height on the camera, along with Gary to the O. Also, Brandon and Stu helping us with pre-recorded assets, and we are seeing another drive come in and it does stop just a bit short. As I said, Brandon and Stu, thank you guys so much out there. Also, part of our photography team, Andy Benton and Johnny V back at the controls in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This has become a beautiful day out here. We're feeling a little bit of wind at the Fiesta Lakes course. Yesterday, of course, we brought you live coverage of the leader card in the ladies division. And that drive has hit and rolled. It continues to roll the wrong way, so to speak. That was Paul McBeth, and it looks like Dave Feldberg is coming in with a roller at the moment. And it is on the left-hand side. Hits up against the fence and then sits down. He will be safe. However, he is on that right-hand side. One of the main topics of conversation, understandably, here today is that Paul McBeth is playing with an entirely backup set of discs. I believe he is borrowing his girlfriend's bag, Jennifer Allen's bag, and he had to grab an entirely different set of discs. Obviously his backups, good thing he travels with them. However, the bag that Paul typically has traveled around with and competed with, he does not vary too much from time to time. We've talked about that throughout previous broadcasts and conversations, that he has a very consistent bag and rarely does he need to change anything up. So this is a new and unique challenge here to Paul today, that he had to entirely swap out his bag. It is undetermined if it was stolen or left or forgotten somewhere. It sounds as if it was stolen. However, we're waiting on confirmation. Johnny Tompkins, his world champion caddy, has talked about it a little bit. Of course, we'll provide any updates that we can. Paul did post just before the round that if you see anyone with a black grip bag as well as a whole bunch of discs with his name on them, not referring to his signature stamp, but his actual name written on them, that may in fact be his bag. As you can see, we've got a nice sized gallery out here that are taking in the action. We see that that will continue to grow as the round goes on. And we will also see a very nice gallery out at the Fountain Hills course, located in Fountain Hills, Arizona. And McBeth is on our right-hand side here. He is approximately 200 feet to the pin, this pin being again perched on a slight hillside on the top of it. And he's going to go with a hyzer route that's going to play for a skip, and perfectly executed is Paul McBeth. As we're thinking about the PDGA National Tour season, of course, you're going to need to put the Ledgestone Insurance Open on your calendar. Look for that in the later part of August. Nate Heinold and staff over at the Ledgestone Insurance Group, along with an amazing set of volunteers and so many other supporters, are going to be helping bring you that event. Taking place in the greater Peoria area of Illinois. Nate has already committed to more than $65,000 added cash to the event, in addition to more than $10,000 donation to the St. Jude Foundation of the greater Peoria area. And many of you have heard about the St. Jude Invitational taking place on Memorial Day weekend in May over in Seaside, California. We're looking for a huge bout of support from disc golfers that will be there both physically and not, as it is going to be a massive fundraising effort for the St. Jude Hospital. Very exciting stuff going on here. Again, the 2015 National Tour just getting underway here with this first opening event. We're glad that you can tune in right here on Smashbox TV. We're through 6 holes here as our competitors have moved into the corner of the course. We've caught up with the group in front of them. I believe Will Schusterick and the rest of the cart are ready to tee. Let's take a look at our hole preview thanks to Steve Rico.
Here we are at hole 7 at Fiesta Lakes. It is a par 4, 741 feet. I just do the roller, a little risky, but I'm trying to get way down there towards the water. The safer play would be throw a driver through this initial gap and set up for your second shot, which goes about another 350 over the water, finishing near the water. So the safer play would be just throw it to this gap and give yourself a good setup for your second shot.
What's going on here, Steve?
Well, I explained earlier how the roller was a little bit risky, and as you can see why. I threw it pretty good and I got to the water, so I guess I won't be throwing that shot anymore.
Looks like he is happy with that shot. Drew Gibson just had said that he's never seen that. And we hear a faint clap in the background. Drew Gibson is going to be next on the tee. Drew Gibson going what I would consider a little bit more conventional, straight up the middle here on this 741-foot hole number 7. Nico LaCastro also going with a similar approach that we saw from Simon Lizotte. Nico repping his Fly Life gear, and crowd likes that shot as well. Will Schusterick lining up for a forehand. Executed perfectly by Schusterick, a forehand out on the left-hand side. We'll see how that whole preview finished up with Steve Rico here on hole number 7.
Nate, what's going on out here?
We're here on hole 7, and there's a little water here, and we've got Steve Rico is threw a roller off the tee that made it all the way to the lake, and now he's trying to fish it out with the guy's golden retriever or something like that. And his disc is floating, and he's got the retriever, and now it looks like the retriever is stuck in the ground, so it's going to be interesting to see the play that he uses to try to release it. Oh, he's got it released. So now we got shot number 2. The thing he's trying to avoid here is getting the disc. He doesn't want the disc to sink. He's in a really good position because he can see it right now. If it sinks, who knows what's going to happen on the bottom. Oh, went short on that one.
Yeah, what rated retriever would you consider him? That did not look like a 1,039 throw by any means.
Based on those throws, I would say he's in the mid 900s. The guy who loaned it to him looks pretty good.
Uh-oh. Do we have a wardrobe malfunction?
Oh, we have a wardrobe malfunction. We have shoes coming off.
So he's an owner of a disc golf company, yet he's got his favorites. He's got to go in and get it.
He's going to get this disc back no matter what at this point. Oh, and that guy just went short too. I think it's a bad retriever at this point, because that was 2 straight short shots. And now at this point, they're knocking it further away.
So Steve is not fully committed because he gets very deep very quick. So he's
got the retriever in hand and in the water. This is an unprecedented move, really. And now he's standing in the water trying to unknot what's going on here. We're creating quite a large backup.
Darn pros. Another less than perfect shot there.
If he keeps doing this at this point, it's going to go all the way to the other side. There it is. Right, just in the nick of time.
I'm not sure that was by design exactly how he nabbed it, but it worked.
It right on it, and there you go. Stevie's got his disc back.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Hole number 7.
Got it back.
Fiesta Lakes.
You got it.
Plastic Addicts Disc Golf Supplies, home of the Discraft Ledgestone Edition releases, including the new TI Comets, TI Zones, TI Bangers, Crystal Flex Zones, Glow Flex Buzzes, and much, much more. Be on the lookout for the next Ledgestone release on March 25th. Plastic Addicts also carries a full line of products by the top companies, revolutionizing the sport. Plastic Addicts also has a full line of custom Plastic Addicts apparel, including hoodies, hats, dry fits, thermals, patches, towels. Need disc golf supplies? Look no further. Plastic Addicts, for all your disc golf cravings.
Check 1, 2, 3, 4.
That should be good.
All right, good. And we have moved down the fairway here on hole number 7. Jeremy Koling is on the tee. He's going to be setting up for a forehand shot. And very similar to what we just saw from Will Schustrick, Koling has placed himself out here very nicely on the fairway. This is, in fact, the longest hole these competitors will see out here at the Fiesta Lakes course. 741 feet. And Wysocki's roller is coming in. Some players and people from the gallery are going to need to make sure. And Wysocki lands just inches away from the tee on hole number 17, actually. He's going to have some trees to navigate around to be able to get to this pin. Feldberg on the tee. And Feldberg's shot comes in and is on the left-hand side of the fairway. Last to tee, Paul McBeth, who is also lining up a forehand shot. And McBeth with a very nice looking forehand coming in nicely. And it looks like he's landing, may have even crossed over Jeremy Koling's shot. We're going to wait as these players move on down the fairway, and in the meantime, I would like to go out there and thank anyone and everyone that has contributed. These are our regular batteries, and I just pressed it. It's got Alright, you're seeing data. What?
That one was turned on again. So it must have got hit.
No, it's fine. All right. Well, I guess let's hit the road now. Let's start thinking about a contingency plan. If this goes back down. Yeah, that's like a major ordeal because of corded and white. Johnny. And welcome back, everyone. We had to stand down just for a few moments due to a few technical difficulties, and we are watching Ricky Wysocki, who actually had gone deep of the basket, and OB, he's going to tap that in for his bogey 4. Paul McBeth's drive also landed in the water. He is already cleared out. He's going to be taking a penalty 3. Koling makes good, and Dave Feldberg's putt was short and off the front of the basket. We're going to move behind the tee here on hole number 8, correction, hole number 9. You're watching live disc golf right here on Smashbox TV. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. This is the 2015 Memorial Championships presented by Discraft. I'm so glad that you could join us here today. We've got both Gary to the O as well as Joe working our cameras here, trying to bring you action from all over the course. We're seeing this course not being quite as easy as many of our players had hoped for at first. We're going to move over here to hole 9 at 270 feet as Jeremy Koling takes scores.
I have 2. Ricky. 4. Dave. 3.
Jeremy Koling on the tee. Koling with the lead here at 28 under par. McBeth at 26. Wysocki at 23, and Dave Feldberg at 21 under. Koling's going to need for that to finish to the right, and it looks like it has done just that. He's a little bit deep of the basket. Feldberg looks to be throwing a putter of sorts. And a little shorter than he was hoping for. He could have used a little skip, however, hole 9 not giving it to him. Again, McBeth 26 under par, going with a 4-hand shot here. McBeth just a little bit closer than Dave Feldberg's backhand. These players throwing 4-hand shots, which should bring them away from the water at the end of the flight. And Wysocki with a standstill shot. He's going to play it off the green and comes in just past the basket. It looks as if it is still rolling. And he is safe. We see and hear that you are tuned in from all over the world here, taking in the action today here during our 3rd round coverage. Of course, we're going to be crowning our champion tomorrow on Saturday out at the Fountain Hills Disc Golf Course, where we had brought you live coverage on Wednesday's broadcast. Paul McBeth has traditionally owned that Fountain Hills course. However, we saw Ricky Wysocki have the hot opening round on Wednesday. Regardless, it will be a great battle, and we're glad that you're going to be here on Smashbox TV taking in all the action. Please let all your friends and family know. Hook it up to your television, your huge screen at home. Do whatever you need to do. We saw Leah Taylor and Baby Avian Jenkins taking in the action on a large projection screen yesterday. Thank you to Leah for posting to Facebook and letting us know that she was home watching as her no time for talking when Ricky Wysocki is up for putting and birdieing. No problems for Ricky Wysocki. Dave Feldberg left with 22 feet to the pin for his birdie. And David, with his very unique putting routine, makes good on the birdie. Little traffic control. I believe, in fact, that Paul McBeth was out. However, it was determined it's Koling. Koling with a birdie. Right into the center of the chains for McBeth. Someone referred to that as a star frame. We're going to move over to the very short hole number 6. You're watching our action here. Jeremy Koling actually discussing how challenging of a putt Ricky Wysocki had. I stand corrected. I apologize if I'm talking about hole 6. Some of these baskets are actually marked with different numbers on them because it is a course that is normally played. However, the baskets and the numbers that are on them do not necessarily match this championship layout, so I do stand corrected. We're going to get in position here. Players are taking scores. There are back-to-back holes here on numbers 9, 10, and 11 that are all relatively short for these competitors. As you look over to the island green that we'll see a little later on hole number 13. Absolutely beautiful landscape out here that's provided us for us at this Fiesta Lakes course. Jeremy Koling is on the tee. I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. I anticipate a hole-in-one by someone from this leader card. Let's see if they can make it happen. And Koling has found himself just 13 feet to the right of the pin. Dave Feldberg throwing a backhand. I'm guessing that it's going to be a putter of sorts. I think we'll see forehands out of both McBeth and Wysocki. And Feldberg has gone deep of the basket by approximately 25 feet. Third on the tee, Paul McBeth lining up a forehand shot. And although not an ace, he has found himself within 8 feet of the pin. Ricky Wysocki with a standstill forehand. And again, although not an ace, within 1 foot of the basket is Ricky Wysocki's shot. I anticipate we'll see 4 birdies from these gentlemen.
Let's get the
Very nice sized gallery continues to form. I believe as with each passing moment, we're seeing more players and spectators come out here and take in the action. Again, after 4 birdies on the previous hole, McBeth at 27, Koling 29, Wysocki 24, and Dave Feldberg 22 under par. Dave's going to be first to putt, approximately 24 feet past the pin. And Dave is bewildered as to what happened there. He was putting downhill. Unfortunately, it goes low of the basket. Koling capitalizes, as I'm guessing McBeth will do the same. Feldberg in for his par 3, and Ricky Wysocki will tap in. There you have it. That is hole number 10. We'll be back with you in a few moments. We have set ourselves up directly behind the pin here on hole number 11. Jeremy Koling has gently kissed off this wall on the right-hand side of his fairway. He sits just 3 feet from the pin. And McBeth clips a tree. Again, McBeth playing with a different set of discs than what he's normally used to. This is, in fact, what may be the single shortest hole we've seen at a national tour event at just 168 feet. And Ricky Wysocki takes a very unique approach. He drops to one knee and throws a forehand shot. I believe we're going to see a putter shot from Dave Feldberg. He's throwing a backhand. And Feldberg has just launched it out of bounds. He had hit the light pole that is in the out of bounds, and he had a slight chance of it hitting and then bouncing back in, but that would need to be a perfect break for him. And unfortunately, Dave Feldberg has found himself out of bounds here on hole number 11. We see the gallery walking down this very narrow corridor. Had a conversation been had earlier in the week, I would not have guessed that we'd see our leader card here today struggle with this hole at just 168 feet. We have Jeremy Koling right next to the pin, Wysocki and McBeth both with long putts, and Dave Feldberg out of bounds. And a very good break there by Paul McBeth. He certainly was going after that putt to try and grab the birdie too. However, he caught the tree directly behind the basket. Had that carried on, it would have went at least 10 to 12, maybe even 15 feet further down the hill, and more than likely been very obstructed. So, believe it or not, I would consider that a very good break for Paul McBeth. Dave Feldberg with a little bit of frustration, trying to determine exactly what his plan is here. And he makes good just when I thought Dave had possibly lined himself up for a bogey. He makes good on his nearly 50-foot jump putt, or walk-through putt, or whatever the pros are calling those these days. Wysocki looks to be almost the exact same distance, maybe 45 feet. And as I was saying about McBeth, we see Ricky's hitting off the top of the basket and carrying deep. He's going to be left with at least 28 feet, slightly uphill and slightly obstructed. I believe that same exact thing would have happened had McBeth not hit the tree right next to the basket. And right into the center of the basket for Ricky Wysocki. I know that he is certainly frustrated cutting the par 3 here on this 168-foot hole, and Jeremy Koling is going to extend his lead. We see 3 pars and a single birdie only to be had by Jeremy Koling. Not how I would have guessed hole number 11 to go down. We're going to move over to hole number 13. We're looking at a preview from Valerie Jenkins.
All right, we're on hole 13. It's 345 feet, but as you can see, there's water trouble right at the beginning, and then even behind it, the hill slants off. So if you go past the basket, you're going towards the water too. You're going to want to hang the disc out to the right, hyzer it in, but be careful that green is also OB, so there's lots of trouble on this one. So we'll see how it goes.
And Jeremy Koling's going to be first here on the tee. As we said, our DGA code word of the day is breaker, B-R-E-A-K-E-R. Koling snapping off a very nice looking forehand, and he comes up just a few feet short. He's looking at inside 25 feet for the birdie 2. Paul McBeth shot is coming in low. He's going to need that to finish left, and it scoots up the hill. However, he could have used more hyzer skip on the end of that flight. Wysocki throwing a forehand and landing between where McBeth's and Koling's had finished. Feldberg lining up a backhand shot. And Feldberg has placed himself within 10 feet of the pin. He's going to like that. See if he can get himself back on track here for the final backside of this course. You're tuned in and watching live disc golf right here on Smashbox TV. We'll be back with you in a moment. And McBeth is off the top of the basket and following the contours of the hill. He had carried more than 25 feet past it. Wysocki is left. And Ricky Wysocki makes good from 33 feet. And just to clarify, it looks as if Paul McBeth has in fact gone out of bounds, which I'm not sure that he had realized after attempting that putt. All the greens here are considered out of bounds. There's a white circle that surrounds them, and by more than just a few inches, Paul has found himself OB. This will be for a penalty 4. And McBeth makes good for his penalty 4. And Koling continues his birdie streak here. Feldberg's going to have no problems tapping in from 3 feet, and he's done just that. We're going to move over to the beautiful hole number 13. As you can see, there is a very sizable gallery that has come out to join us here today. Everybody taking in the action. And you at home out there taking it all in, whether it be on your tablet or your large screen TV, your phone. Let us know what you're using. Go out and use the hashtag SmashboxTV. Let us know what you are watching us on today. This is your third round coverage here at the 2015 Memorial Championships. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. And we are moving on to hole 13, 345 feet. Looks as if our second card is on the tee. And it's going to be just a few moments. They're waiting on the third card, which is going to need to complete the hole first. And we have Simon Lizotte here on the tee, hole number 13, 345 feet. Will Schusterek coming just inside the center tree. He's going to be a little bit short. And Nico LoCastro catching the tree, however, it stops and does not kick back toward the water too far. And Drew Gibson needs a little bit of hyzer finish on that. And the second card is going to continue down the fairway. We've got Paul McBeth sitting at 27 under par. We have Jeremy Koling at 32 under par. Ricky Wysocki at 26. Dave Feldberg at 23. And if you look over, we can see Simon Lizotte actually sitting at 30 under par. He has moved himself into second place from the second card. Schusterek and Gibson at 24. gonna see what we can do to try and get a camera over on Simon Lizotte and see what he is doing. Again, he is sitting currently at 30 under par, which puts him in second overall. We are back here on hole number 14 with Jeremy Koling on the tee. Koling also leading the tournament right now, sitting at 32 under par. And Koling looking for a little bit more than what he gave it there. He is in fact safe, however, he's going to be considerably short of the pin. The back of this green does slope downward and toward the OB, so we'll see if the players are a little bit more conservative in going after this basket. And Ricky Wysocki pulling it a little bit to the right hand side. I'm sure he was looking for a hyzer finish with that drive. Dave Feldberg throwing a mid-range. He's coming in very nicely. That looks like it will probably sit, and it does. Feldberg's going to be happy with that shot. And McBeth carding the penalty 4 on the previous hole. He's going to be next to tee. Again, one of the big stories here this weekend, and this is going to certainly come into a play for tomorrow's round as well, is Paul McBeth playing with a backup set of discs, not his regular big. And it's not going to matter on that shot, as Paul has placed himself safe just over the green. The OB on that right hand side. McBeth will find himself looking at a birdie 2 opportunity. We're glad you're tuned in right here to Smashbox TV. You've been here all week, and you will be here tomorrow as well, bringing you. And we invite you to come on out, even though it may not be gorgeous for us and these competitors tomorrow. I guarantee we will have the action, and we will see who is crowned our Memorial Champion. Sea of folks taking it all in here today. We're going to move over and capture the putts as these competitors, this leader card, is going to find their way toward the basket. However, there's a little bit of a bottleneck here, considering the tee shots taking place by the second card here on hole number 15. Nico Castro is on the tee. And a beautiful looking shot by Nico Castro. As we mentioned earlier, you can pick up your As Seen on Smashbox TV shirt. Our friends over at Paragon Disc Golf helping us out. You're able to go out and pick one of those up today. Just go out to Paragon Disc Golf and find yourself an As Seen on TV t-shirt. $18 shipped to your house is all that it takes. And Drew Gibson throws a gorgeous shot. As our second card heads on down the fairway, we're going to catch back up with our leader card in just a few moments. As you can see, our leader card is crossing the green where the red flag is placed. That is, of course, out of bounds, as we've seen on every other hole out here. Adding a little extra challenge here to this executive ball golf course layout. And Koling really not with too many options there with that downward sloping green. He's going to simply have to lay up. Also, feel free to join us tonight. We invite you to do so. That is on our live podcast taking place at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. We'll be again broadcasting from Duke Sports Bar and Grill as Dave Feldberg puts in from 15 feet for his birdie 2. We have been live with our podcast each night at 8 p.m. and tonight will be our final show for the week. McBeth also makes good for his birdie. Koling taps in, as did Ricky Wysocki, both for pars.
Let's get that spot.
We have Dave Feldberg on the tee here at hole number 14. He is short of the pin, however he's going to have a look at a birdie from there. Next to tee is Paul McBeth. Paul throwing a very nice turnover shot, and he is just about pin high there. Very nice shot by Paul McBeth. This hole measuring in just short of 500 feet. And Koling hanging it out further to the left. However, he needed more turn on that. It hits on the left-hand side. He's going to have to settle to try and get up and down with a par from there. And of course, Ricky Wysocki with more than enough power here to drive this green. And Ricky going with a turnover. However, He has come up short of the OB green, but he did not get the full flight that he was hoping for on that. As these players walk down the long fairway here on hole number 14, we're going to sit back and enjoy a word from one of our sponsors.
The Mach X by DGA, the evolution of disc golf.
Disc golf is in the air.
We have moved over here to hole number 15, and we are watching our second card as they are just getting to their lies. In fact, we've seen a few approach shots here already. Drew Gibson, it's difficult to tell if Drew had gone out of bounds or not on his initial tee shot here. However, I know he is down by the water's edge at the moment. And very little time remains for you to go out and get your entry in for today's Mach X giveaway. Well, I should say your opportunity from today, that is. We are not giving away a Mach X every day, but we will be giving one away on Tuesday night on our Smashbox TV podcast. Thanks to our friends over at DGA. Simply go out to BITL Mach X and enter in your name and information. One entry per day is all that you get. We've seen some people have tried more than once, and we have filtered those out, may have even deleted them if you were trying to cheat the system. And Will Schusterich makes good. This is one of the most beautiful greens that we'll find out here at this Fiesta Lakes course. Simon Lizotte is currently on a tear, sitting at 32 under par. He is certainly working himself into that leader card. We will see him there tomorrow as we go out to the Fountain Hills course. Simon with just a few holes to play, and in a moment we're going to be back with our leader card. And it looks as if Drew had in fact gone out OB. We see Madison Walker, not Madison Rast, as I may have called her earlier in the day. Madison Walker drying off a disc. The spotter is giving the red flag so everyone can get out of the way, and we're going to get in position to bring you the tee shots here. I'd like to thank our friends over at DGA again for the Mach X giveaway this week, as well as spinners on the green. If you're looking for any discs in the Arizona area, in the, I shall say, Scottsdale area, make sure that you stop in at Spinners on the Green, located just off of the Vista del Camino disc golf course. If you're in the Peoria, Illinois area, certainly check out Plastic Addicts. Johnny Harrison, a great guy over at Plastic Addicts, doing big things. Any purchases made from Plastic Addicts this week will in fact get you a Lil Wizard, which is a not quite a mini but not quite a full-size disc, but you will get one with any purchase you make this week. Our friend Tony has all of your computing and computer services needs taken care of over at Salon. Thank you to Tony for your support this week. Of course, the PDGA, our Professional Disc Golf Association, helping out with the live leaderboard action that you've been seeing all week long for these competitors. And as we've mentioned before, both Discraft as well as the Ledgestone Insurance Open, both supporters here of our live broadcasting efforts this week. If you're interested in supporting yourself, go out to smashbox.tv/support and you will find an opportunity to make a donation of any size that you wish. As we're watching Ricky Wysocki's disc come in, and that is in fact out of bounds literally by inches. He was last inbounds just past the green, and then it had circled around and came back out of bounds. Ricky will be OB and throwing over to the Peninsula Green from here. As we check out the shots here on this side of the hole, we're going to have our secondary camera move over and try and catch up with the second card. We are moving into 4:26 here in the Mountain Time, and we're watching this gallery move down this fairway. Ricky Wysocki is not going to be particularly excited at finding himself just less than a foot away from being in bounds. All four of our players have had a minor struggle at some point during this round. However, Jeremy Koling seems to be pulling away from the pack at the moment. And Ricky Wysocki throwing a forehand shot to the Peninsula Green. Paul McBeth has a couple of different options that he's looking at here. We've seen him possibly line up for a forehand as well as a backhand here. And very similar to McBeth, Dave Feldberg has thrown an Anheuser jump putt out and around. He's within a few feet of the pin. This hole measuring in at 510 feet is what really should be a 3 for most of our competitors. Unfortunately, with Wysocki going deep on his tee shot, he's going to be looking at a 4. Wysocki is in for the penalty 4. Feldberg taps in. During our practice round the other day, I think we saw these same protective geese, and if we got anywhere near the basket, they would actually act as if they were going to attack us. There you have it. We are through 15 holes. You're watching the 2015 Memorial Championships presented by Discraft. I'm your host, Terry Miller. You're watching Smashbox TV. We'll be back with you in a few moments.
Here we are on hole 16. It's 357 feet. It's a pretty big Anheuser. You've got some trees to deal with when you're coming into the basket. If you can see the wall down there, the basket's pretty close to that. If you hit these trees early though, the water's big into play.
Plastic Addicts Disc Golf Supplies, home of the Discraft Ledgestone Edition releases, including the new TI Comets, TI Zones, TI Bangers, Crystal Flex Zones, Glow Flex Buzzes, and much, much more. Be on the lookout for the next Ledgestone release on March 25th. Plastic Addicts also carries a full line of products by the top companies revolutionizing the sport. Plastic Addicts also has a full line of custom Plastic Addicts apparel, including hoodies, hats, dry fits, thermals, patches, towels. Need disc golf supplies? Look no further. Plastic Addicts for all your disc golf cravings.
Feldberg is on the tee here on hole number 16, 357 feet. It's on a big turnover roller which hits off the wall and kisses back and looks like it may have rolled right underneath the basket. McBeth has a very nice forehand, gives himself a little fist bump of excitement. I think we're going to see a very similar approach here by Jeremy Koling. Koling gets a little clip of a tree on that left-hand side as he's currently sitting 33 under par, and McBeth at 30. And Ricky Wysocki is going to be happy with his shot, just a bit short here on hole number 16. Ricky Wysocki with approximately 45, maybe 50 feet from the pin. And Wysocki's attempt is low. We see both McBeth and Feldberg both within 10 feet of the pin. In fact, McBeth a 10-footer and Feldberg 3.5 feet at most. Koling knew right out of his hand. I think I heard him say, "I missed that." And unfortunately, Koling with a unforced error here from less than 15 feet. Feldberg going to tap in for the birdie too. So birdies by McBeth and Feldberg. A bogey from Jeremy Koling and a par from Ricky Wysocki. We've got both first and second card coverage. We've got just 2 holes to go here at the 2015 Memorial Championships third round action out here at Fiesta Lakes. We're glad that you are here and tuned in. This gorgeous day is about to come to an end with just 17 and 18 remaining. Stay tuned, you're watching Smashbox TV.
Okay, we're here on hole 17. It's 369 feet. slightly uphill. You have two options. You could throw a hyzer flip shot, or you can go right at it with something and kind of flex it over. There's a green that's OB just short of the basket. So when you really gotta crush this shot, make sure you get over that green and over those two humps that you can see right there.
All right, we are back here on hole number 17, 369 feet. Dave Feldberg on the tee. Feldberg goes out into the right of the tree off the tee. And it looks like he's about pin high on the right-hand side. Nice shot by Feldberg. McBeth sitting at 31 under par, second to tee. And McBeth looking for his champ Thunderbird to push over to the right just a little bit.
On the green for real?
Unfortunately, he has found himself on the green, and the spotter is saying that he is in fact out of bounds. Wysocki third to tee. Ricky has driven past the basket. And Koling's shot is coming in nicely. and hits up near the pin. Unfortunately, it carries left. There's your tee shots, hole number 17. You're watching third round action here at the 2015 Memorial Championships presented by Discraft. And McBeth's shot is just to the right of the pin. He did not clear this green up here on the 17th hole, which is why you found him throwing from the back side of the green. And Koling's birdie attempt from 40 feet hits off the front of the basket. Looks as if we are waiting on Drew Gibson over on hole 18, which is very close by. He taps in for the birdie 2 to finish his round. Simon Lizotte currently sitting at 34 under par and is your leader of the tournament at the moment. Here on hole number 17, that's going to put him at 30 under. Nicola Castro is up and in for the birdie. He's going to move to 27 under on the day, which is where we see Wysocki currently. If that wasn't enough numbers to throw at you, we'll be throwing more at you in just a few minutes. And Simon Lizotte has in fact set the new course record out here at the Fiesta Lakes Disc Golf Course, as we also see Will Schusterick tap in. Dave Feldberg's going to be next to throw. And Feldberg with the birdie moves to 28 under par. That should nearly secure his spot on the leader card for tomorrow's final round. Ricky Wysocki also in, so I do stand corrected. Wysocki also moving to 28 under par. Koling will remain at 32, and as I said, Paul McBeth with the bogey will move to 30 under par. We're going to move right behind the basket on hole number 18. Again, another very short and birdieable hole. This will be the final hole for these competitors, of course, today, meaning they have completed 54 holes for the event. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, set up behind the 18th pin, literally just feet behind it, as this is more or less a postage stamp green. This hole is very short with a slightly elevated basket. As our final 4 competitors finish up here on hole 18, I have to again send a huge thanks to all of the amazing supporters. Anyone that contributed in any way had gone out to our smashbox.tv/support and donated in any denomination. We do appreciate it. Dave Feldberg has put himself within 20 feet of the pin. On the cameras today, Gary to the O, as well as Joe Height. Also taking photos locally here for us, Andy Benton. Both Stu and Brandon helping us with pre-round assets for our broadcast, as Ricky Wysocki puts himself within 15 feet of the pin. Of course, Johnny V back at the studio in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We will finalize the tee times for tomorrow to bring you our live coverage, where we will be crowning our champions here at the 2015 Memorial Championships. And of course, thanks to DGA for the Mach X giveaway. Jeremy Koling places himself just a few feet away. Plastic Addicts, Sail On, the PDGA, Vera Disc, Discraft, and the Ledgestone Insurance Open PDGA National Tour event in August. Paul McBeth has found himself out, so to speak, even though he is just 23 feet at most from the pin. Him and Dave Feldberg look to be about the same distance, I should say. I think, in fact, it looks like it may be McBeth just a little further away. We will be live tonight on our podcast, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. If you can't catch our podcast live, you certainly can find it on Smashbox TV. All of our footage is archived nearly instantly, whether it's our full round broadcast or our individual podcast. And with a solid finish, Dave Feldberg moves to 29 under par. And McBeth moves to 31 under par. Expect to see Koling move to 33 and Wysocki went off the center of the chains for Wysocki. He's going to move to 29 under par as well. And Koling moves to 33. We're going to catch up with a couple of our players here in just a few moments. It's been an amazing at the.
Hope to see you tomorrow.
All right. Well, if you are around tonight, of course, we'd like to extend the offer. If you feel that you can join us, we're going to be doing a podcast starting at 8 p.m. If you're around, we'd love to have you. If not, we'll see you on that leader card tomorrow.
I think I can make it tonight. Maybe tomorrow or whenever.
All right. You've got to rest up.
Yeah.
All right. There you go.
Jerry.
Great round.
Thank you.
All right, well, there you have it. That is Simon Lizotte carding a 41. I guessed hot score today would be 42, and he bested that by 1. I'm going to see if we can catch up with anyone else, including Jeremy Koling, who I know was having a hot round. We're going to catch up with Jeremy Koling here in just a few minutes. We're going to give you just that, a few more minutes. Go out to bit.ly.com/MachX, enter in the code for the day. If you remember what the secret code was, it was Breaker. All right, that's your last chance. It was Breaker. Go ahead and enter that in. You have just a few more moments to do so, and that will make you have your entry in for today for the Mach X. All right, Jeremy Koling. Ugh. All right, I can't get that tall. Jeremy, heck of a round today. You want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, sure.
it was a little bit breezier than I think a lot of people practice this course. So it was, a lot of people were saying really low numbers, and I think that things changed a little bit when we got out here. And so it was just basically about keeping it off the greens, out of the water. There's a lot of OB, and if you can do that and just give yourself some putts for 2s and 3s on the par 4s, you'll put up a good score.
All right. Well, you certainly did that. Now, what would you say would be a highlight, or was there any particular hole or shot that you executed today that sticks out in your head that would be considered a highlight?
I almost had a pretty cool eagle on a throw-in. It hit the top of the cage. I don't know. It was pretty boring. That's what I want to do out here. I want to keep it boring. I don't want to do anything too exciting. Just execute what I can execute and make putts, which I did sometimes. And sometimes I didn't.
You did. There was only really one that sticks out, but yeah. I know you got over that really quickly, which is exactly what we need to do. Now, just after you guys had teed off on hole 1, there was an eruption on hole 2. What was that ruckus all about?
Will Schustrick just slammed up an ace on hole 2. Beautiful tunnel shot. Simon Lizotte said it didn't move an inch, left or right off the line. And then Marty McFly actually said that he got an email from an ESPN producer who was looking to see if he got footage so he could put it on SportsCenter tonight. Unfortunately, I don't think anybody got it, but that would have been great coverage. Definitely some nice publicity for the sport. But
well, we've got some great action out there that was taking place all today. And to prove how funny the internet works, by the 4th or 5th hole, someone had said that Will Schustrick had already gotten a second ace, which we know isn't true, but that was certainly going around on the internet and on the Facebooks, I think they call it.
I love it.
So kind of funny that that's how it went down. What would you have done with 2 aces today?
With 2 aces, I would have ran off the course. I would have been done. I've been like, I've proven it's done. You guys, I don't know what I would have done. I would have lost my mind.
I believe there were, in fact, and this is, I believe, confirmed, that there were back-to-back aces out here yesterday.
An amateur player. I heard that. He aced the I don't know what hole the number is, but then 2 in a row, which is incredible. It's
9 and 10 or 10 and 11 maybe?
Yeah, a little shout-out for Mitch Sonderfan, the only person that I know that's done that. And he also hit the cage on the next hole after that, too. So wow. Pretty impressive, but that's a feat he'll never forget, and very, very, very cool.
And a big shout out to Rock Searle, I believe, holes 5 and 6 in Ann Arbor, Michigan Worlds 2000. But, wow. Anyway,
nice,
that's besides the point.
Cool.
All right, well, this is Jeremy Koling. We're going to see you again on the leader card tomorrow. We thank you for the show today. Any final shots, anything you'd like to say to all of our Smashies or our Smashboxers that are out there taking in all the action?
Just want to say hi to everyone back home pulling for me in Charlotte, North Carolina, and anywhere else. I really appreciate the support, and I love y'all. Thank you.
All right. Well, that is Jeremy Koling again. We're going to see him on the leader card tomorrow. We're going to be out at the Fountain Hills course bringing you the championship round on Saturday. Let's hope that it stays drier than last year at least. That would be a good place to start.
Yeah. No puddles this year. Please, no rivers.
So for all of us at Smashbox, it's been an amazing day. Thank you. We'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. when you step inside the Smashbox.